Record that one.
That was a good one.
Yeah, let's replace the...
I like that you were able to get the record that one out before the exhale.
that actually probably worked out.
So that's where we're starting this episode at, is with that bong rip right there.
Bong rip, music, bong rip.
So with that said, this is the Higher Minds Podcast.
Hi, your Minds Podcast.
I'm Scott.
I'm Papa Darby. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. I was talking to the listeners.
Oh.
Can you hear them respond? I heard them.
Okay.
Yeah, they are.
I'm not that high yet.
Well, I'll take the podcast.
Yeah.
So this is Higher Minds Podcast. We are a podcast of a couple of stoners who looked up stuff the week before and are going to tell you about it.
God, that's been a while.
Oh, Scott just took a big old long. Papa Darby's about to too. If Scott would pass us the lighter.
Been a while since I've hit a bong.
You didn't really smoke much today either.
Mm-mm.
I guess I don't really know your daily smoking habits. I know your weekend smoking habits.
Yeah, normally during the day I don't smoke. I just wait till I get home from work, chill out in the evening.
Yeah. Anyway, so...
Did you say the topic?
No, I haven't said the topic.
Okay.
We are doing ancient Egyptian mythology. We're doing ancient religious mythology, specifically Norse and Egyptian. Mm-hmm. Scott here will be presenting Norse, and I looked up Egyptian shit.
Yeah.
Egyptian mythology, not Egyptian shit. There are people that are looking at Egyptian shit because apparently shit tells you a lot about the people that live there.
Mm-hmm.
There was what was that? What was that one doctor? Scrubs. There was an episode of Scrubs where they did a musical about looking in the poo.
I have seen like 2 episodes of Scrubs ever.
Oh. It was okay for a while.
Meh.
Yeah,
not my kind of thing.
It wore off really quickly.
Yeah.
You know what else is wearing off the season? It's fucking Modern Family.
I haven't watched Modern Family in a couple years. It used to be really funny.
Oh, it was.
I haven't watched TV at all in a couple years.
I like what's her name though? The mom, the blonde.
Oh, I know the one you're talking about. Seeing her husband, the dad, but not the dad.
Yeah.
Every time I see him, I can only think of what the hell was that? Dawn of the Dead. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that's great. All I could see him as. That was the first thing I saw him as, so that's the only thing I can see him as.
I want to see him do more of that kind of shit.
More serious.
Not necessarily serious, just not goofy.
Not comedy, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess
he is funny, though.
He was goofy in that movie, too, I suppose.
A little bit.
He was actually... No, he played up the dick.
He did it funny, though.
Raging asshole.
I don't think he was funny, but like the things that happened to him were funny.
Yeah. It was his end was pleasing.
Boy, we're off topic straight into this one.
Straight away. Well, it's because we just fucking hit the bong with... What did we hit it with?
What is the weed of the week?
Weed of the week?
Ghost Train Haze.
Ghost Train Haze.
A sativa with 23.1% THC.
You know what, guys? Anybody who listens, you probably wonder why there's a lack of indica represented on this show, and that's because, well, I'm pretty much against indica, except for in certain circumstances. I prefer sativas, like, pretty much all the time.
Yeah. I'll do hybrids occasionally.
Indicas,
Indicas,
hybrid, though.
Every once in a while. Like, I'll hit some at night if I'm having trouble sleeping or whatever, but
yeah,
it's not often that I have any indica with me.
Sativa being the upper weed, indica being the downer weed.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. So,
let's start at the beginning.
What happened at the beginning?
I'm doing the Norse mythology. Their creation story, it's a weird story. Before there was soil or sky or anything green, there was an abyss. A perfect silence, perfect darkness called... And I have only read these names. Most of these I've never heard anybody else say. So I am going to butcher pretty much everything.
Before you tell us the name, where did you get your information?
Actually, I have a book on this. I meant to bring it with me and I forgot it. It's Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman, maybe? I think.
Oh, I like his stuff. I like his stuff a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He's done
Yeah, you'd sent me something else that he had written one time saying I should check it out or something.
American Gods.
Yeah.
Yeah, the show.
Yeah, so he wrote a book on Norse mythology. Got a lot of information from there. Some from YouTube, some from Wikipedia. But a lot of it came from that book.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I've only ever read these names. I've never...
I asked you that because I got an audiobook. Except that I know for sure that the guy in the audiobook mispronounced at least 2 names.
Really?
Or at least 1 name. And I'll get to that. But, yeah, I had the privilege of at least hearing the names being said.
A lot of these aren't even letters that we have. And the letters that they use don't make the same sounds and shit. So I'm going to butcher all these, and I apologize ahead of time.
Yeah, so tell us, what's this first name that you were going to fuck up?
This abyss where everything started in perfect silence, perfect darkness, the Ginnunga Gap.
How about you spell it?
Yeah. Ginnungagap.
May I see it?
Yeah. Give it a shot.
I'm the type of person that has to read it. Gunninagap.
That extra G really fucks it up.
Gunninagap. Gunninagap. I don't know.
And that's assuming those letters make that sound in that language.
Yeah, it could be
So, from here on out, I'm just going to call it the gap.
Okay.
Because it has gap at the end of it, so it's some sort of a gap.
Everybody likes the gap.
So the gap laid between Muspelheim.
Oh my god. Spell these fuckers.
Muspelheim. Muspelheim, maybe?
Okay, alright.
And Niflheim. That one I can actually say with pretty decent confidence.
Yeah.
Niflheim.
Yeah.
Basically the land of fire and ice, accordingly. So this gap was in between the land of fire and ice. Frost from the ice realm met with the flames from the fire realm in the middle, where they formed into droplets and formed Ymir. Ymir.
Ymir?
Ymir, maybe? Okay. Ymir was a hermaphroditic giant that reproduced asexually.
That sounds hot as fuck. I want to see that video. God damn. I got a rager right now.
More giants would come from its legs and armpits as it slept.
Oh my god, stop. I'm going to blow.
The frost continued to melt into droplets, or condense into droplets, I guess, until it formed Audhumla, Audhumla, a cow which nourished Ymir the giant with its milk.
So even in ancient times, the fucking giants were drinking cow milk.
Is that a thing? I'm not up to date on my giant knowledge.
No, it's not. It's not a statement about giants. It's a statement about humanoids or hominids or whatever the fuck they are drinking cow milk.
Okay.
No other species drinks another species' milk besides humans, and this is another example of that being part of the creation story. Just something I just wanted to. There's a dot connected. Yay! Or whatever it's worth.
This cow would lick salt deposits in the ice, which eventually would uncover Buri, B-U-R-I, the first of the Azir gods,
Azir.
Azir is there's two divisions of gods in Norse mythology.
Okay.
The Azir is the main, more popular, relevant, powerful one.
Okay.
Bori's son, Bor, married Bestila, a giantess. Bor and Bestila had 3 sons, Odin, Vili, and Ve. So that's where most people's understanding of Norse mythology picks up, is with Odin.
Okay.
Most of that before shit, like, you don't really hear about.
Okay.
Odin and
There's
his...
some interesting similarities between Norse and Egyptian.
Is it really?
Yeah, so far.
Odin and his brothers killed Ymir, the giant from earlier, and made the world from his body. Oceans from his blood, soil from his flesh, vegetation from his hair, clouds from his brains, and the sky from his skull.
Clouds from his brains?
Mm-hmm.
I guess...
Gray matter.
Yeah, I suppose back then they didn't understand what the brain, like, as an organ did, I suppose. Because they always thought, like, back in the day, they thought came from, like, the heart or the bowels area.
Right.
And we know that that's not where thought comes from anymore.
I mean, if you squint a little bit, a brain with the ridges kind of looks like a fluffy cloud.
Oh, sure. And, the way that they saw brains was it being splattered against a fucking mallet or some shit.
Yeah.
And so that looks even more cloud-like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you look up at the clouds and say, hey, I see brains. Brain bits. Like, and you're right every single time.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it.
Yeah. Maybe they were onto something. Side note, and I know this because I just know random shit, the word skull is a Viking word that we actually still use today.
Oh. It means the same thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we use the Viking word.
Is it spelled the same?
Mm-hmm. It might have umlauts over it or some shit, but basically.
I love that word so much. I so wanted to say it during the Nazi episode because there was a bunch of umlauts.
You did a couple times.
Did I say umlaut?
Yeah. Umlaut. Where the fuck were we? Yeah, so skull, we still use that one today.
Yep.
The gods would then go on to make the first 2 people, Ask and Embla, from tree trunks. An ash tree, not ashtray, ash tree for Ask, and an elm tree for Embla, and then gave them Midgard, which is Earth as we know it. There's 9 realms in Norse mythology. Midgard is the one that us humans occupy.
Realms are different. Like this question, realms are different than planets, right?
The way they do it, there's the world tree, Yargisil, I think is the name of it. Is that? I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yggdrasil,
maybe.
Something like. I know what you're talking about.
Like I said, I've only ever read these words. So.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, it's there's the leafy part is a couple of them. The trunk is a couple of them. Midgard occupies the trunk, and then the roots go down into other worlds.
Okay. So
they picture it as a giant tree, essentially, with the gods and elves and giants and shit living up in the leafy part.
The fact that, well, until recently there were 9 planets. There still are kind of 9 planets, and the fact that there are 9 realms, that's a complete coincidence.
Possibly.
Okay.
I mean, they were the best sailors in history, basically, so...
And astronomy.
They obviously knew astronomy to some degree.
I'm sure, probably better than, well, you.
Well, obviously.
So, I mean, I probably know better than them, but...
You also have 1,000 years of knowledge on them, too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I mean.
Right. So, yeah, they obviously had some kind of knowledge. Whether they knew there were 9 planets, I don't think Pluto was discovered until the 20th century.
Right, no, it was, I forget. It was like the 50s or 30s or some shit, I forget. But yeah, 1900s was the show.
So they gave Ask and Embla Midgard, which is Earth as we know it.
Okay.
And that's basically the creation story. They're kind of Adam and Eve would be the more commonly known first couple. They're that religion's Adam and Eve, basically.
Okay. Yeah, so the Egyptian version of the creation story, the similarity pretty much stays at the very beginning here. Now I'll read through this.
I think it's only fair that you hit this right before you take yours too.
Oh, yeah. Why don't I do that? I'll fucking hit a bong. I hit a bong all day long. Sing a song, ding a dong, cheech and chong, and other things that rhyme with ong. Nice and long.
I honestly wasn't paying any attention to you at all.
The entire slide came up. Did you see that?
It did it for me too.
Motherfucking, I hate that. Because then you don't get that, cool.
You don't get
that gurgle. Yeah. Oh, well. I miss the gurgle. Okay, so Noon. Noon is the name of... They call it a deity, but Noon is the fabric of reality. Noon is the being from which everything was made. And I'm going to go ahead and read.
And his name is Noon?
Noon, N-U-N.
Okay.
Noon. Like none.
So Noon is like existence, period.
Noon is a conscious being.
Okay.
But from which existence, as we know it, sprung.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's kind of, it's super interesting how they explain what Noon actually is. In addition to saying that Noon is incomprehensible, there's no way that a human could understand Noon. It's just being a small part of Noon. It's such a vast being that there's no way that we can see the entire whole. We can see the whole, and never will be able to. So we would never be able to understand it fully. But anyway, according to the theology of the Ogdoad, the universe was formed from the interaction of 8 elements, instigated by one of a number of possible gods, including Tot. Now, Tot, that is the name that the voice actor for the book? I don't know. What the fuck? The narrator. Whatever. The guy reading the fucking book to me on the audiobook. He pronounced it Thoth. It's spelled T-H-O-T. Or, sorry, T-H-O-T-H. And it looks like Thoth. But I took a couple of classics classes in college. And they both explicitly said that the TH sound is a T sound. T. Makes a T sound. For instance, the name Seth is pronounced Set.
Okay.
And a lot of times you see in English, it's written S-E-T, but it's supposed to be spelled S-E-T-H, but pronounced S-E-T.
But they just drop the T to make it easier for
to drop the H.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
So anyway, backing up a little bit, instigated by one of a number of possible gods, including Tot, Amun, Horus, and Ra. Ra, Ra spelled R-A can also be spelled R-E in other types of, in other circumstances, and I'll get to that later.
Is he kind of their main deity? Because
Ra
Odin
is the sun god.
Okay.
Not their main deity.
Because Odin goes by different names depending on where you're at too.
It's not in the same way. Yeah, okay. I know that it's not the same way.
Because Odin can be Odin, Woden, Wotan.
Yeah.
I think Wotan too.
Egypt. Yeah.
There's like a bunch of different names that Odin goes by, but Odin's the
it's all like sounds kind of the same. If it's pronounced in a weird way, it sounds the same.
Yeah.
And no, it's not that way with Egypt. It's a lot simpler with Egyptology.
Okay.
It's
this is way earlier too.
Egyptology is
Yeah.
So the 8 elements. Anyway, so water, nothingness, or invisibility, darkness, and infinity. Water was represented by Noon and Nanuet, which is the female form. Although the Egyptians had many different creation myths, they all agreed that the universe came from the primordial waters of Noon, and many legends suggested that everything would slip back under these waters at the end of the world. There were no priests or temples devoted specifically to Noon, but he was represented by the sacred lake of each temple and was frequently referred to in religious inscriptions. So the thing about Noon, the way that the author, or the reader of the book, maybe the author, I guess, the author of the book described noon, and he went into really just beautiful detail about it. But noon is everything and nothing. Noon, and it struck me that noon and the number 0, which was discovered after, the concept for 0 was discovered after the idea for these gods were created. But 0, okay, so noon is nothing and everything. They consider noon the primordial waters, but that's just because water is the most simplistic way for them to describe what they were trying to describe. It's more like a background energy,
The Force.
A force, definitely a force. But what they're trying to describe is an energy field.
Okay.
A multi-dimensional energy field.
Okay.
So, and they call it noon, which kind of sounds like none, which is what 0 is. And that's a bit of a stretch, I understand. But think about what 0 is. 0 is not, and they describe it the same way. 0 is not nothing. Think of it this way. 2 is, you know what 2 is, but you know what negative 2 is. So everything in the universe has a balance and a counterbalance, including 0. So 0, if you add 0, if you add, what?
0's opposite would be infinity then.
No, infinity is one way on the number line. Think of the number line. 0 is in the middle of each of the sides.
Okay.
And each of the sides balance each other out. So if you add 2 to negative 2, you get 0. So what 0 is in that circumstance is 2 and negative 2. And in actual reality, in physics, there's equal amounts of matter and antimatter. So there's that physical representation of what 0 is. So if you think of the entire number line, what 0 actually is everything added together. So it's not nothing. It's a collection of everything.
Okay.
So if you think of the number line again, if you take away the negative 2, what you have on the other side is a imbalance of a positive 2. So what you're doing, if you subtract a negative 2, what you're doing is adding 2. You know that from math,
right?
Just basic math. What you're doing is taking away from the number line 2 and making an imbalance on the other side of positive 2. Same thing for negative 1, negative 3, negative 5, whatever. So you're not actually, when you're doing that math, in discrete math, when you're doing that math, you're not adding that much, you're taking away the negative. So if you take away from 0, if you take away 2, if you take away positive 2, you get negative 2, and so on and so forth. So it works on both sides.
Okay.
Anyway, that's what none is the collection of everything that there possibly could be.
Okay.
It's nothing and everything. That was a major point to this. Anyway, so back to the creation.
Yes. So
there's Noon. He's just hanging out there and doing his thing. And what happens is another force. They describe this as just kind of like a force of will. They named this force of will Ptah. And it's spelled P-T-A. And what it is, they say that Ptah rippled in Noon, and that was the spark that created everything. From that ripple in Noon, imbalance, and it's just kind of strange, they call it order. Order was formed out of what Noon was, which is what they call chaos. In my opinion, it's backwards. I think Noon is complete order. And entropy, like they think entropy, they say that entropy is disorder, but it's more order, it's more homogeneous than what we have going on. We are actually the chaos. Humans, we're in our trying to order the universe, what we are actually doing is disordering it. And without disorder and without an imbalance in the fabric of space-time, there wouldn't be any sort of reality or us. And that's what Ptah is. He was the spark in Noon, which created us. Or which created things that were going. So anyway, let me get further into this. Noon existed in every particle of water and formed the source of the river Nile and the yearly inundation. The god was also associated with the laying of foundations for all temples, possibly because the Egyptians used simple and effective technique which took advantage of the fact that water will always form a horizontal level in order to ensure that the foundation layers of the structures were flat. Noon is often associated with the forces of chaos. When Ra decided that the people were not giving him the respect he was due, Ra, Re, is the first pharaoh.
Okay.
Also the sun god.
Is he the one with the dog face thing?
That's Anubis.
Okay.
I believe Anubis is the grandson of Ra.
Okay. That's one of the coolest looking gods ever. Like, if we're being real.
For sure. Especially the modern depiction.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. When Ra decided that people were not giving him the respect he was due, it was Noon who suggested that Re, the same person, should send out his eye to destroy mankind and end the world. However, unlike the water serpent Apep, who was the enemy of Ra and a purely destructive force. So the book also goes into that. And Apep and Ra, they were opposing forces. They say that Ra, or that Apep was destructive, but again, I think they get that backwards. I think Apep was a snake. It was in the form of a snake. That went around and destroyed what they called order, which I call disorder. Anyway, Noon had a positive aspect. Noon protected Shu and Tefnut from the forces of chaos, as represented by demonic snakes. According to one myth, it was Noon who told Nut to transform herself into a solar cow and carry Ra across the sky because he had become old and weary. Noon was represented as a frog, or a frog-headed man, as a member of the Ogdoad, but could also be depicted as a bearded man with a blue or green skin, reflecting his link with the river Nile and fertility. In the Thea latter form, he could look fairly similar to Hapi, the god of the Nile, and often appeared either standing or on a solar boat or rising from the waters holding a palm frond, a symbol of long life. Occasionally he appears as a hermaphrodite with pronounced breasts.
So both have hermaphrodites. Norse and Egyptian.
Yes. Yeah. I didn't put that one together. In Memphis, Noon was associated with the creator god Ptah in the form of the composite deity Ptah Noon. Both gods were described as the father of the sun Ra, or Atum. However, rival priests claim that Thebes, was the place where the primeval mound first rose from the waters of Noon, as Amun was both the creator god of Thebes and a member of the Ogdoad. They suggested that Noon had been a powerful but inert force until Amun turned himself into the primeval mound and thereafter created the other gods. If I were to get into everything into that, this would be a 5-hour book, like the book that I listened to.
Oh, I only focused on like a handful of gods.
Oh, yeah.
There's so goddamn many.
Yeah. But, please, the book that I do want to tell you, it's called Egyptian Mythology by Scott Lewis. If you want to know more, check it out. I mean, we're going to tell you more now.
I like how we both went for like the most basic named book for our research. Egyptian mythology, Norse mythology.
Well, I mean, it seemed pretty, yeah, that's what I was going for. It gave me exactly what I wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what's next with you?
You touched on a handful of gods. Let's go ahead and do the same on the Norse side, too. Like I was saying at the beginning, there were two groups of gods. The Asir being the main group, the more dominant group. And then there are also the Vanier. There's a handful of them that play a role, but for the most part, they're not important. The Vanier Nord...
Can I ask you a question about that real quick?
Yeah.
Can you hit a bong about it?
Yeah. Just about cashed.
Oh, I'll take it again. Fuck.
There's a little bit of green left in there.
Fuck, yo. Get our drink on, get our sip on. Yabba-dabba-doo.
Oh, the thing's stuck again.
Just wiggle it. Kind of wiggle it inside of it. Kind of break it.
That's what she said.
Oh, because she likes it to wiggle inside. We're allowed to say that, right?
Nobody here to stop us.
No, there's not. I don't see anybody.
Yeah, that's cached.
Recording stuff, so.
Where the fuck were we? The Vanier.
We'll be late.
Njord, Njord.
Njord.
And his children.
Is there an umlaut?
No. No, it's an NJ. They like to do a lot of NJs, it seems like.
Fuck
and that just kind of makes like a NY sound-ish. Njord.
You know what? The A in Darby has an umlaut.
Does it?
Now it does.
Now it does?
Now it fucking does.
Okay.
Umlaut. Okay.
I want an upside-down question mark at the end of Scott now. I don't know how to get those on a keyboard.
Scott Shackelford?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how to. No,
like on a phone you can do it, but like on a laptop, I don't know how the fuck you get an upside-down question mark.
It needs to be in the program. It needs to be in whatever you're writing. And like in Word, you have to go to symbols and pick it out. It is in there. I know Word too much, but I don't know any other besides my phone.
So, Njord and his children Freya. I was thinking there was 3 of them. There's just 2 of them apparently. 3 total.
Do you know that Freya means brother in French?
Does it?
Yeah.
Well, he was the brother of Freya, so.
Well, no fucking. That is just a coinkydink and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I say shit like coinkydink.
So Njord, Freyr, and Freya joined the Aesir as hostages after a war between the Aesir and the Vanier. Or Vanier.
Those are the 2 types of gods.
Yes.
Okay.
The Aesir won that war, obviously.
Obviously. Who fucking knows that?
Odin, one of the main brothers from the creation story, he's what they call the Allfather.
Well done.
Most of the gods are descended from Odin, making him the Allfather. Plus, he made humans, so he's the Allfather.
Yeah.
Married Frigg, children Balder, Hod, and Hermod. Odin had a child with Jord, Jord. That was Thor, one that a lot of people know.
Jord is Thor? Jord is Thor?
No, Odin and Jord had Thor together.
Not Frigg?
No.
No.
Frigg was Balder, Hod, and Hermod.
What the fuck?
While we're on the Odin and Thor thing, forget everything Marvel ever told you.
But Marvel's awesome.
Thor has a hammer and Odin only has 1 eye. That's about all they got.
And he's blonde and...
Nope.
He fights in space.
Nope.
He goes through the Bifrost. And he's best friends with Heimdall.
Not best friends, but he knows Heimdall.
They hug each other.
I don't think so.
They do.
I don't think that's a thing Vikings gods did.
Oh, the Vikings.
Although
they were sailors. Yo.
Although
fuck shit.
We'll get into Loki and Loki.
Loki's Loki's a freak. Loki's weird. I know about Loki. I did some research on Loki. He's a weird motherfucker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he can produce some weird shit too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll get into that too. Yeah. Loki.
I just want to say,
despite being like he's not an evil god or a devil god or anything like that. He's just there, but he's a trickster. And pretty much any good story in Norse mythology, Loki plays a hand in.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about some of the things that. Yeah, I'll let you get into that. But
yeah, we're definitely going to get into Loki.
I want to reiterate that the Vikings were sailors, and sailors are known to love each other.
They're sailors that took a lot of women back home with them too,
but not on the way, and they loved each other.
Actually, they had women sailing with them too.
Didn't change throughout the years.
Women were in war just like the men.
You know the old saying, sailors will be sailors. Everybody says it. You know it.
They were among the first sailors. That might have happened after them.
I think they liked each other. There was at least 2. There was at least 2. Yeah.
I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm not saying it did, though, either. I'm just saying it's known that they brought a lot of women back with them.
And it's known that sailors like other sailors.
Okay.
All right. Yes. All right. And that's okay with us. That is okay. Nobody cares.
Yeah. Do what you want to do.
Yes.
Leave me the fuck alone. That's all I want.
Yes. I want to be left alone too. Like just I just like to play my video games and smoke weed.
Mm-hmm. I have to go home, watch some YouTube, hang out with my dog,
eat. Yeah. I like building fires. Not like in the fireplace. Not anywhere else other than the fireplace. I like doing that. It's peaceful. I feel like plugging Schwitty's balls. Schwitty balls. Anyway.
Are you done? I was just going to let you go.
Some of that should be cut. I don't know if you're gonna.
Depends on what kind of mood I'm in when I cut this.
Anyway.
Where the fuck
are we? Bong, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, this is I haven't smoked a bong in a long time.
That might have to be our official Prior Minds smoker.
Yeah. If we're gonna use a bong, I want a bigger bong. It's just a normal size bong.
You get like a 4-foot bong? Like that.
I don't know if I go that big, but like a good 2.5 inch round foot tall. Like a big ol'.
That's a foot tall right there.
Yeah, but it's a thin one though. Like the chamber isn't very big on this one.
But you want something fancy?
Not fancy, just bigger.
I want fancy. Lots of tubes. The more the tubes, the fancier it looks.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you swirly shit like what's in this bowl here?
You know what? I think that, if it was glass, see-through, it looks more labby, more progressive-y.
Yeah.
Futuristic.
I like the crazy green shit.
Have
you seen that? It's like slimy green. Looks cool.
I don't know. I don't think I've seen that.
Mm.
Maybe with an internal cooler system.
Say what?
Internal cooler, like Alienware?
Yeah. Similar to that. It's just
bright,
glowy green. It's cool.
Oh. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I've seen some dab rigs made out of it.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
We can get back on topic now.
Let's do that.
Odin the Allfather. Married Frigg. Balder had Hermod with Frigg. Had Thor with Jord. Odin and Grid, a giantess, had Vidar. Odin got around, is basically what I'm getting at.
Oh, yeah.
There's a reason he's known as the Allfather.
He was a hornknackle. That's an actual word.
What is it?
Hornknackle. And
what's the definition of it?
A person who gets around and has a lot of children. Hornknackle. KN. Hornknackle.
Hornknackle?
I will. No.
Horn.
Hornknackle.
Okay.
Hornknackle.
I learned that today. I'll forget it in 10 minutes, but I learned it.
Just listen to this episode.
So Odin is a god of war and death, but also a god of poetry and wisdom. So it's
that's sweet.
It's a balance, kind of.
He's a Renaissance man.
We mentioned Yggdrasil. Yggdresil. I apologize for butchering all these names.
Yggdrasil.
The World Tree, basically. Odin hung from the World Tree, pierced by his own spear for 9 days. Over those 9 days, he learned 9 songs and 18 runes. So that's basically how language was created.
So he hung by a spear in a tree, learned songs, and 2 runes a day.
Essentially, yeah.
I guess that was time well spent.
Well, what else are you going to do when you're pinned to a tree with your own spear?
Try to get off. That's not what I would do.
Yeah, I guess yours makes way more sense.
Yeah. If I get off, I mean. Get off the spear. What the fuck are you talking about?
I hadn't even gone that way with it. So Odin has the ability to make the dead speak in order to question the wisest among them. Odin is a big thing with wisdom.
I'd love that power. That'd be cool.
That would be interesting.
That'd be freaky though. That'd be kind of scary. Like, what form do they come to you? Like, as they're dead,
or like as ghosts?
Zombies, I guess. I've never seen a ghost. I'm not sure I want to, unless under the right circumstances.
I'm thinking like Harry Potter style ghost. Like, that's what I see in my head, at least.
Okay.
Like, not like Ghostbusters gross ghosts.
Or like George A. Romero.
Zombies?
Yeah. That would suck.
If you had to dig them up first before you could question them.
You just fucking dig them up and you had to like reassemble their jaw and like tongue and shit.
Full on Brendan Fraser mummy. He's got to like eat people to get his tongue back to be able to talk.
See?
I just watched that like a week ago. CGI doesn't hold up. I'm a Brendan Fraser fan.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So much did you kill him, Fraser? It's Fraser.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
He ranted, like, they recorded him ranting once about it.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
We're off topic.
Yep.
Yeah.
So.
He got around. Or Nickel.
What the hell was it? Encino Man.
I didn't like that.
See, I love Pauly Shore, too.
I don't like Pauly Shore.
I love Pauly Shore.
Yeah. No. He's always been... Pauly Shore.
He's got a podcast, too. Pauly Shore's Random Rants.
Yeah.
I watch every episode of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of got a hard on for the 90s. Recently.
You know what? He kind of reminds me of Bobcat Goldthwait, who was on Wait, Don't Tell Me This morning. Today?
He did Rogan a while back. Have you seen his Bigfoot movie? No. Bobcats?
No.
I
saw him live once.
Something Creek. I'm going to have to look it up now. But yeah, he's a director now, too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and he did a Bigfoot movie, kind of like a found footage kind of thing, but not shitty, if that makes sense.
Okay.
It was really good. Let me see if I can... It's something Creek, I think.
We're looking it up. Bobcat Goldthwait's movie, Something Creek, about something in a creek. Bigfoot, I guess, walking. We imagine Bigfoot, like, in a creek walking around, like, in the woods, like, not wearing shit. But what if they had, like, a civilization, like, they wore ties and they...
Willow Creek.
Willow Creek?
Willow Creek.
Yeah.
Worth checking out.
Yeah.
If you... I don't know. I like Bigfoot type shit sometimes, so...
Okay.
I got stoned and watched it. Pretty fucking decent.
Yeah. All right. We'll check it out.
Yeah. Okay. Back on topic.
Yes, we're not going to go down that Bigfoot hole that it went down.
We should someday, though.
All right.
I love that kind of shit. Odin sacrificed his eye. That's how he ended up with one eye.
Goddamn, how did he sacrifice it? Why did he sacrifice it? For one, did he?
Sacrificed an eye for one drink from Mimir's well,
Mimir.
Which granted him wisdom and foresight.
Oh, I'd love that. I would sacrifice an eye for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is
immortal.
Their gods aren't immortal, actually.
Oh.
Yep. They eat apples from Idun, Idun, that just, like, breaks their aging. And it seems like there's some other kind of magic shit along with it, too. But they can be killed.
Oh. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Now you do.
Yeah. I was thinking, I just recently heard about the Idun apples, but it's from, I was playing God of War. Or God of War, the newest one. Anyway, go ahead.
Odin has two ravens, Hugin and Munin. Roughly translated, that means thought and memory.
It's kind of beautiful. Are there umlauts?
I believe there are over the U's.
Nice.
Maybe. I could be wrong.
I'm a sucker for
Maybe.
umlaut.
We've been through this. So these ravens, he'd send them out over the 9 worlds, over Midgard, just kind of scouting, see what's going on, keeping track of things. And they'd come back and tell him the day's events every day, basically.
They were his newspaper.
Pretty much, yeah. He had drones.
His Twitter. Hey, yeah. Wait, is that what that's from?
Huh?
Is that why they called Twitter?
I would imagine it's probably from carrier pigeons.
Or
a little birdie told me.
Yeah, or something like that. But that works with Hugin and Munin.
Yeah. Maybe Hugin and Munin.
Munin?
Munin, I think. Muninn.
I don't know what it umlaut does to a letter.
Yeah, that might be where all that shit comes from. Because ravens can talk, too. A lot of people don't know that. Ravens can actually talk better than parrots.
I don't know anything about that.
I think ravens are supposed to be really damn smart. Like smarter than a human toddler.
I've heard that. Yeah.
They're really good at problem solving and shit.
Yeah, they've done studies on it.
I read a thing not long ago. They can remember human faces too, and they know who's been a dick to them, and they'll like actively fuck with people who've been dicks to them in the past. So along with these two ravens, Odin had two wolves, Freki and Jiri. Odin would give them his food every night at the dinner table because he only drank mead. So he'd give his dinner to his two wolves.
Cool.
I thought that was interesting.
That's sweet. Right? Yeah. I don't feed my dog Mulder human food. Like I do occasionally, but rarely.
Xena almost never gets it. There's few things I hate more than a dog that begs when you're eating.
Oh, I hate it too.
And if you just don't give your dog people food, they won't beg while you're eating. So every once in a while, she'll get like leftover pizza crust or whatever. If I drop something cooking, she gets it.
Oh, but, yeah, that's different.
Yeah, but I don't give her people food because I don't want her begging for people food.
Yeah, same with me. And for the most part it works. But I give my dog people food like when she's done something impressive or been like exceptionally good for some reason or another, which happens occasionally.
That's what treats are for.
I give her a treat just because.
Yeah.
They're made for dogs. I just give her treats.
Well, your dog weighs like 3 pounds, so
6.
How many treats could she eat?
They're very small.
yeah, I got an 80-some pound Rottweiler that she can eat.
Yeah, you haven't hit that in a bit.
So go ahead and do it. The last one I hit was Cash. You packed a new one.
Yeah. I think I hit it twice. Oh, I'm yawning. I don't think we should record us yawning. Is that wrong? I'm just so tired. It's been a long freaking day. We spent the day in the sun.
That was after I worked, too. I've been up since 5.
And we're sitting here. It is 9:49.
Jeez.
I know, yeah.
So next major god, Thor. Let's, again, forget everything Marvel has ever told you.
Thor has that axe now that's made out of the tree branch's arm.
From Groot.
Yeah. Thor and Groot know each other. They're friends.
With the, what's he called, the squirrel thing?
Rocket. He's a raccoon.
Oh, no, he's a rabbit.
He's a raccoon. A rabbit. It's a raccoon. And they're friends. That's absolutely true about Thor. You know this.
So, Thor's not blonde. He's a redhead.
He's blonde.
He's a ginger.
Blue eyes.
Big old red beard.
He's Australian.
Absolutely not. I guess I was going to say, I don't think there were Australians, but no, the Aborigines were there, I guess. So
yeah. They were blonde, too.
Thor is like a protector god. Protector of Midgard, basically. Beats the fuck out of some giants. Like,
well, I mean, the giants have it coming.
Probably, yeah.
You've seen the movies.
Yeah. Thor is the reason we have a tide with the oceans.
Oh, that's... We'll get into the science lesson here in a second, but how so?
Thor, while I think he was at a giant's castle again, or some shit.
No shit.
They gave him a horn to drink out of, a drinking horn, and said, if you can empty this horn, you win whatever. I forget how exactly the story goes, right?
The power of tidal.
But the end of the horn was in the sea. Oh. So Thor's basically drinking the sea. And he tried so hard to empty that horn that he created the tides.
Oh. That's not what happens. Actually, it's the moon. The moon pulls the water closer to it, and as it goes around, it creates a swell in the water in the direction of the moon.
But the Earth's flat, dude.
The
Earth is not flat.
It's not. Thank you.
I couldn't help it. So, Thor is married to Sif, S-I-F, a fertility goddess. Kids are Mugni, Modi, and a daughter, Thrud.
Thrud.
Yes, very feminine name.
Horrible name for a girl. What a thread. Put on your dress, Thread.
Thor has a magical belt that doubles Thor's already incredible strength.
Oh.
This belt's name is Megingnard. Megingjard.
Fuck that shit.
I find this interesting because with powerlifting and shit, you wear a belt to help you pull more.
Oh, interesting.
So I wonder if that may be related somehow.
It might be.
The weightlifting belt and Thor's magical belt.
Interesting. Is it a big, thick thing with a big buckle?
Yeah, it's like a big leather belt.
Like a wrestling belt?
Ish, yeah.
I think maybe he should take off the belt and then fight the giants and see how fucking big you think he is then.
Well, he still has the magical hammer, too.
Well, maybe he should drop the fucking hammer and fucking fight like a man.
With the magical hammer, Mjolnir was created by dwarves or elves. I always get the two mixed up with these damn stories.
Were there elves in Norse mythology?
I think so. There were giants, dwarves, elves, Valkyrie, which were angelish. They'd pick up the dead off the battlefields.
They were the women army that fought Hela.
No.
Yeah. I think Hela killed them all.
Yeah, and Hela's not really a bad person either. So, again, forget everything you know about this from Marvel.
There was one, they got sent to that one dimension guy.
Oh, and while we're on it, Loki and Thor aren't brothers at all.
But they love each other. No, Loki's actually a frost giant. He was adopted by Odin. And he's adopted brother of Thor.
No, he's more closely like the adopted brother of Odin. Odin and Loki are almost equals. To the point that Odin not treating Loki as an equal leads up to what will eventually become their Armageddon.
Cool. Okay.
Another weird thing, Thor's cart is pulled by goats instead of horses or anything normal.
Goats. Goats more reliable.
One of the gods has a cart pulled by a cat, now that I think about it, too.
Cats are assholes.
Absolutely.
The cat pulled the cart off a fucking cliff and laughed about it. Didn't even laugh. Actually didn't fucking care. Just sat there. Huh. Whatever. I hate cats.
Where did that even come from?
The bong right there.
Yeah, we got to bring this bong back more often. Tyr, Tyr.
Tyr.
God of War and Justice.
Yeah,
doesn't have his right hand because it was bitten off by a giant wolf that we'll get to in a little bit.
But it was just.
And that brings us to Loki, probably the most interesting of the Norse gods.
Got killed by Thanos.
Sure. Didn't, but sure. Like you said a minute ago, parents were giants. He's kind of adopted in. The giants are the enemies of the gods, though, too. Like we said with Thor, just kicking the shit out of giants all the time.
Fuck some giants.
Loki and Odin can both shapeshift. Loki for sure, Odin I think too, can gender shift too. So they can switch to female whenever they want to.
Which leads to some hijinks.
Yes.
Hijinks.
Loki is married to Sigyn.
Hijinks.
Damn.
Oh.
Where was that idea
damn
fucking a couple months ago?
Okay. Anyway.
We need to get that website domain.
Yeah.
Before somebody else does.
Oh, I'm sure it's there. I'm sure someone has it.
Damn. Fucking ideas.
Damn it.
Where the fuck was I?
We should have been smoking this bong when we first thought of this.
Right.
Sounds like magic.
Loki was married to Sigyn, Cigyn.
Sigyn.
Had
No Uma.
3 children with the giantess Angrboda.
Ingrubda.
Angrboda.
Not gonna try.
Here's where my favorite part of Loki comes in is his kids. First child
He
with
wasn't
this.
always a father, right? What?
How could he have always been a father?
He was not always a father, was he?
No.
What?
Nobody's always a father.
But sometimes.
I'm pretty sure you need to hit that bong again.
Go ahead. I'm sure you'll get to it.
First child, Fenrir.
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 A giant wolf.
Wolf. He had a baby wolf.
Yeah. This wolf, Fenrir. I've also seen it, Fenris.
Fenris. Did he father this child?
He did father this child.
Okay.
Is this part of your joke that I'm not getting at all?
You'll get to it.
Okay. This wolf grew so fast that it scared the shit out of the other gods. And they're like, we have got to do something about this before it gets way out of fucking control.
Pretty big as the world.
So they chained it down. It broke free of these chains.
Yeah. Hella wrote it.
So they chained it down again with bigger, stronger, thicker chains. And it broke out of those chains. So the gods go to the dwarves. The dwarves make all kinds of cool magical shit.
Yeah. Good idea.
They make a chain to hold down this giant wolf. The chain is made out of the sound a cat makes when it moves,
Ooh.
a woman's beard.
Wait, whoa, hold on. Back up.
Huh?
We're going to start that over. What?
Where do you want me to start over at?
The chain is made out of what?
The chain is made out of the sound a cat makes when it moves.
The sound a cat makes when it moves.
Yes.
Okay, so silence.
A woman's beard.
A woman's beard. Nothing?
The roots of a mountain. The sinews of a boar. The breath of a fish. And the spit of a bird. I can see it on your face.
Well, some of those work, some of those don't.
That's why those things are very rare or completely non-existent today, is because they used them all up to make this chain.
They only use lady beards.
Mm-hmm.
They said, hey, and all the women had beards, and they said, hey, just use those.
They're magical dwarves, dude. What do you want?
Okay. All right.
Loki's second child. I'm going to butcher the fuck out of this.
Hold on, let's see. Boar sinew?
Sinews of a boar. Or is that a bear? That might be bear.
Like, as in...
I can't read my notes.
Like, tendons and shit?
I guess so. To be honest, I'm not fully sure what a sinew is.
It's like the gristle of a fucking animal. Of humans have it too. I mean, bone and sinew, you ever heard of that?
Okay.
Like tendons and shit.
Okay. It's the tough shit.
Yeah.
Like the hold shit together shit.
Yeah, why doesn't all boars have that? It's not rare.
I don't know.
What?
I didn't make this shit up, dude.
I think maybe you did. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway.
Loki's second child. And I'm going to butcher the shit out of this.
I know, because Marvel got it right.
Jormungandr.
My what?
Jormungund. Jormungandr.
Jormungand.
Is that what you're going with?
Yeah, Jormungand.
Okay. Like I said, I've only ever read these. I've never heard this shit. He's a giant serpent, referred to as the Midgard serpent, big enough to completely circle the Earth.
That's large.
Yes.
It's larger than I am.
Once he grew just as fast as the damn wolf did, and they got afraid of him too, and threw his ass in the ocean.
Oh, so he's in the ocean.
Yeah. Didn't really get rid of him, just put him off till later.
Didn't chain him down, though.
No, they used up all the good chain on the wolf.
None of the ladies had beards anymore.
Loki's third child with the giant, Hel, Hel, and absolutely no relation to the Christian Hel. Half dead, half alive, like Two-Face, kind of. Like,
Crazy.
zombie rotting corpse, beautiful woman. Like,
Sally.
who?
Nightmare Before
Oh,
Christmas.
yeah, ish.
Yeah.
She's all stitched back together.
Yeah. She's more like it.
If her and Two-Face had a child, hell.
Okay.
With her, they sent her off to Niflheim, Niflheim, Basically, their underworld. So, their underworld is ruled by Hel, and I've seen it called Hel, just like her, Helheim, or this Niflheim. So, I think it just depends on what region it's being taken from or whatever. Just like the differences with Odin. Loki had another kid, and this one is probably my favorite of Loki's kids.
Yeah? Did you father this kid?
He did not father this kid.
Oh, fuck. What happened? Oh, god damn. What the fuck? This is weird.
So, the gods were having a wall built around Asgard, which is one of the 9 worlds. That's where the gods live. So they're having this giant wall built around Asgard to keep the giants out.
Because fuck giants.
They made a bet with the wall builder that said he could have it done in X amount of time. And if he didn't, he'd do it for free or whatever, right?
Yep, good deal.
So, to prevent him from being able to do this on time, Loki shapeshifted into a mare.
Into a mare.
A female horse.
A lady horse.
She then seduced the wall builder's horse, who was pulling the cart back and forth with all the stones on it to build the wall.
She got fucked by the fucking other guy's horse.
Yes, Loki, as a she-horse, got fucked by a horse.
By a man-horse.
Not only did he get fucked by a man-horse, he got impregnated by the man-horse.
Oh, fuck.
And carried a horse full term.
Holy shit.
Not just a regular horse, an 8-legged horse.
He gave birth to a horse with fucking 8 legs. A deformed fucking almost 2 horse, but not. Holy shit. He mothered a fucking horse. This is fucking weird.
That might be the single best reason why Loki is probably my favorite. Like,
you know that
he has the best stories.
It would die in the wild.
This horse, Sleipnir, Sleipnir,
Can't see that.
Sleipnir? Okay.
Sleipnir.
Because he had 8 legs, he could run pretty much nonstop and not get tired. He just used 4 at a time.
That's not what 8 legs does. 8 legs makes you incapacitated, and then you die as a child. In the wild, that's what would happen.
Not when you're the child of a god-like giant shape-shifting, gender-shifting.
Died.
This one didn't. This one could run almost nonstop without getting tired.
That's fucking insane.
And for that reason, Odin took that horse as his own.
Oh. What a fucking asshole. He took his nephew.
Basically taking his adopted nephew.
He enslaved his fucking nephew. He said, hey boy, you're gonna run for me now. And the fucking dude, and the little boy did. Little girl? Little boy?
I'm pretty sure it was a male horse.
Male horse. Doesn't matter, it had 8 fucking legs.
Yeah.
Maybe it had 9. Ooh.
Horse dick joke.
It's no higher form of comedy.
Last fun fact about Loki, he's the reason Thor's handle on his hammer is so short.
And made by Groot.
No.
Groot.
Made by magical dwarves again.
Oh.
Maybe elves. Pretty sure they're dwarves.
Okay, fun fact about the dwarves. They're actually tiny in real life, and they live in Westeros.
In what?
Westeros.
In what?
In the Song of Ice and Fire, in the Game of Thrones.
Oh, that's why I don't know it. I'm a nerd, but I'm not that kind of a nerd.
Thor and all of them, they're very tiny to us.
Reminds me of an episode of The Twilight Zone, where the astronauts land on that planet, and there's itty-bitty little people, and they become their gods. And then other astronauts land on that planet, and they're giant compared to the first set of astronauts. and they pick him up and they squish him. He thought he was big, but he was really just... There's always a bigger fish. That moral of the story.
That's a great moral. That's a wonderful lesson to learn. I've never seen that. That sounds interesting.
It's a good one.
Have you seen the new versions of?
I haven't seen any of the new one yet.
They're fun. A couple of them are kind of duddy, but a couple of them are really good.
Every other attempted reboot of the Twilight Zone has been terrible. I don't have high hope for this. That dude that
I can hear you right now.
What's that guy's name? The guy that's presenting it.
Jordan Peele?
Yeah. Like, he does good work. So, I have a little bit of hope for it. But, every other reboot is fucking sucked.
There's a couple episodes that I watched because it's the Twilight Zone, and Rod Serling deserves every bit of the praise that Gene Roddenberry does.
But it's not the same without him, and it never has been.
Oh, and of course. Well, so a couple of them are really good. Out of them, it's really.
See, I'm gonna break down and watch it. I've just been putting it off, because I like the old ones so much.
The old ones are very good. Even they stand up even today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Rod Serling was a genius,
mm-hmm.
or he stole from geniuses.
He wrote a lot of those, I thought.
Okay, I don't know.
I could be wrong, but I think he wrote a lot.
Stole is probably a strong word. Maybe bought from.
Could be inspired by.
Yeah, but still, Twilight Zone was a genius series when it first came out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Still, and it still holds up.
Yeah.
It's 50 some odd years old, 60 some odd years old. Wasn't that late 50s, early 60s?
You know what? That's worth a Google. I'm going to look that up.
Just okay, Google. When did the original Twilight Zone premiere?
The first episode of The Twilight Zone was on November 24th, 1958.
There we go.
58.
Yep.
So it's 60 years, 61 years.
Yeah, 61.
Yeah.
It's still good.
Hey,
a lot of that old shit holds up.
Right.
I still laugh my ass off at Abbott and Costello and stuff.
Yeah. I want to say that they were original stories too, but I've heard, and I think I got this from a Simpsons episode about it. Or no, I think it was a Family Guy about them being like the Simpsons. And I think that there was a couple of episodes, or there was a couple of references to Twilight Zone also being a knockoff of another story. So I can't for sure say that they were all original, but the stories themselves are genius and they're timeless.
Oh yeah.
We are off topic.
Way the fuck off topic. All right, let's hear some more Egyptian shit.
Egyptian shit. So let me tell you about a few of the gods in particular: Osiris, Set, Horus, and the divine origins of Egyptian kingship. The divine model for the ancient Egyptian pharaoh's rule was the myth of the death of Osiris at the hands of his brother Set, and the subsequent contest between Osiris's son Horus and Set for kingship over the earth. The story begins with Osiris. Osiris is the firstborn son of Geb, the god of the earth, and Nut, the goddess of the sky. During this time that Osiris ruled over the two kingdoms, his consort was his sister Isis, and together the two of them reigned over a golden age of peace and prosperity, and enjoyed the claim of all the gods. Osiris' younger brother Set grew jealous of Osiris and murdered him. After killing Osiris, Set dismembered Osiris' body, and he scattered the pieces of Osiris' body over the face of the earth. So I just want to say this, Set is spelled Seth in here, but I know from at least two classics professors that it's pronounced Set, so I'm going to continue to say that.
And it seems like I've heard it pronounced Set before, too.
And it's spelled Set elsewhere.
Is it?
If you've ever read into that, you've seen Set, S-E-T. But anyway, with Osiris dead, Set assumed the role of the two kingdoms with his consort and sister Nephthys. I want to tell you, the book goes into the more detail. I'm reading this off the the page of the Great Courses Daily.com. But the book goes into more detail about why Set was jealous of Osiris, and that's because Isis and Nephthys were into Osiris and they were both his girlfriends, and Set wanted Nephthys.
Goddamn terrorists.
Yeah.
ISIS joke. Come on, keep up.
Oh. Motherfucker. Goddamn. I'm slow as shit. Anyway. Osiris is younger with... Okay. With Osiris dead, he assumed there was...
So, you didn't smoke before you started reading?
Okay, I'll restart this paragraph right after I smoke. Is there more in there?
There's a little bit left in that one. I'm going to switch to a bowl, I think.
Really? Let's keep the...
Want to keep going bong?
Let's keep going bong.
All right.
I like it.
I'll repack it while you're reading. Good rip.
Thank you. Alright, so... restarting this paragraph. With Osiris dead, Set assumed the role of the two kingdoms with the consort and sister, Nephthys. At the same time that Set begins his role, his sister Isis went into deep mourning over her lost husband. She wept day and night in her grief, and finally Nephthys, her sister and wife of Set, agreed to help her find Osiris. Reviving Osiris. The sister goddesses searched throughout the two kingdoms of Egypt for the pieces of Osiris's body. Eventually, they apparently were able to find almost all of the pieces of the body of Osiris, and they reassembled it into Abydos, excuse me, which was the site of the god's primary shrine. And I need to take a drink here.
Lungs on fire?
Yeah, that last one hurt. Anyway, so once Osiris's body had been reassembled, through her power and magic and through the power of her erotic love, she fucked the shit out of him, is what she would say. Erotic love. Isis was able to revive Osiris, although not entirely. So she fucked his corpse, and he kind of woke up. He said, you know what he was trying to do? He was like, I need a little more. He was like, I need some more. He was just trying to get some. That's what it was.
No, I'm almost back.
I'm coming. Anyway. Goddamn, people have to listen to this episode. Isis was able to revive Osiris sufficiently that she was able to conceive a son, the god Horus, after engendering the son who would eventually avenge his death. Osiris departed... After engendering the son who would eventually avenge his death, Osiris departed his earthly domain and entered the underworld, where thereafter he ruled as king of the dead. Raising Horus, Isis initially hides the son Horus from Set, and she does this by hiding him in the papyrus marshes. Papyrus is also pronounced papyrus.
Really?
No.
Okay.
I do. My kids hate that. But anyway, it's an inside joke that my kid, who will eventually listen to this, know what I'm talking about. Anyway.
You mean they're not listeners?
No, they're not. I tell them, no, you're not allowed to listen. I don't.
They know you do it though.
They do know I do it.
Okay.
And my daughter's smart enough to figure it out. But yeah.
I've met your kids a couple times, and the way you talk about it, like, your daughter's a genius and your son's an idiot. Like,
no. So that's entirely wrong. That's wrong. They're both very, very intelligent. It's just my daughter is more communicative about it. But no, my son. For instance, my son. We talk about. So I teach him math a little bit, and he just. And when we talk about stuff, he knows exactly what he's talking about. He gets the ideas, he gets the concepts, he understands on a deeper level a lot of things. So, no, he's not an idiot. my daughter's more
fun, relatable,
communicative.
Okay.
Yeah. No, my son's very fun too. He and I get along through video games and media. Anyway, Isis initially hides a child. She serves as Horus's protector and advocate throughout his childhood, complementing her earlier role as the loving wife and erotic lover, the fucker, of Osiris by playing the role of the loving mother and protector of the child, Horus. In this part of the story, Horus is called Harpikruti, or Horus the Child. He is entirely dependent on his mother, Isis, and her powerful magic as well as her powerful wits.
That's not a very creative nickname.
Harpikruti?
No. Horus the Child.
Oh. No.
Like, that'd be a terrible pro wrestler name.
Or would it? Let's see. First, let's try. Somebody in, like, a fucking diaper. And, like, a bonnet.
WWF had one similar to that back in, like, the late 90s, actually. It was kind of a Leave It to Beaver kind of gimmick.
So, I mean, it
went as well as you expected to be. I can't remember now.
Was it like what's his name? Ed McMahon?
The WWF guy?
Yeah.
Vince McMahon. Ed McMahon.
He was the drunk guy on Late Night.
Giveaways or some shit?
Well, he did do that, but he was with Johnny Carson.
Okay.
Yeah. Was that one of Vince McMahon's, like, brainchilds?
Probably. He came up with a lot of shit. Like,
you know what? As fucking...
Like garbage.
Well, he is a piece of garbage. Like, do you know much about him?
Actually, I just watched a documentary. Like, it wasn't a long one, but like a 30-minute documentary about him a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. I mean, he's a very successful piece of shit.
Yeah.
He's very good at what he does, and he's very entertaining, and like I said, he's very good, and he deserves respect for being very good at what he does, but he does it he doesn't have to, but he decides to do it in such a way that he's a piece of shit.
Right. Yeah, I don't follow wrestling anymore. I grew up watching it, like, middle school, high school, whatever.
Yeah. Very young when I used to watch it.
But, like, I try to watch WrestleMania every year just because, like, back in the day, my friends and I used to get together every year to watch it, and I don't know. It's just fun. Yeah. I have no idea why the people are wrestling, but it's fun to watch. Like, I have no idea the story that led up to the shit, but...
Do they have, like, seasonal storylines and shit like that?
It's... They call it, like, the longest continuously running story. Because, like, you could technically follow a story between people 10 years ago all the way up through today. Like,
I mean, that's the same for, like, General Hospital.
Yeah, but this show's, like, it's been going on since... When did Raw start? 80s, 90s?
General Hospital and that kind of shit started on the radio.
Right. But, like an episodic TV show. I don't know how the fuck they'd say it, but it's the longest running some sort of TV show.
I think that's bullshit.
It could be.
Yeah.
A lot of wrestling is bullshit.
Fair enough. And you know what? Okay. You can get what I'm saying that. Why couldn't that?
It's not even wrestling anymore. It's sports entertainment.
Do you know what the longest running podcast is?
No.
This one. Higher Minds Podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, it is because I said so.
Okay.
That seems to work.
Does it?
That should be our tagline.
So
on our website.
Can I hit you over the back with this chair?
No.
Damn.
No. That sounds horrible.
Kind of always wanted to do that.
No.
Not to you, but like just in general.
I mean, no, not to me. Anyway, so once Horus was grown up, he is Horus.
Jesus, that's how we got on the fucking wrestling topic. Was that nickname?
Yeah, the child, yeah. Well, he is often depicted in this part of the story as a child sitting in the lap of Isis. So once Horus is grown up, he is Horus, or Heroeris, Heroeris, Haroeris, Heroeris, or Horus the Elder. Now grown, he is ready to approach the assembly of gods under the authority of Re, and to ask for his legitimate right of succession. He wants to assume the throne of his father, Osiris, as king, and to have Set deposed as the usurper. The contest for the kingship of Earth. The contest between Horus and his uncle Set takes on different forms, and these different forms appear in various in the various different sources of the story that come down to us. As the stories evolve and they develop over time, we find the later versions of the stories of combat between Horus and Set are increasingly detailed and increasingly complex. The central contest is really a legal contest because we are talking about the right of succession to the throne. Horus appears before the Council of the Gods. The Council of the Gods is under the authority of the sun god Re, or Ra. Horus makes a plea to the Council of the Gods to recognize his legal rights as their heir and son of Osiris. The Council appears to favor and support Horus's claim, but Horus is opposed by Re, the head of the Council. It appears that Re believes that Horus is too young and inexperienced to rule as king. There follows a contest between Horus and Set, and it takes on different aspects. There is a contest by combat. Horus has been prepared by his father Osiris for this martial combat before Osiris departed into the underworld. But the combat also has overtones of a contest of skill, magic, and endurance. This is also a contest of wits. Set and Horus look for ways to outmaneuver each other, ways to outsmart each other, and sometimes they devise strategies to bring disrepute to the other gods in the eyes of Re and the assembly of gods. So a clear victory is won for Horus. The upshot of all of these contests is a series of clear victories for Horus and a series of clear losses and humiliations for Set. Finally, the Divine Assembly agrees that Horus should have the authority to rule because Set has shown himself incapable of ruling. However, Re offers Set something of a consolation prize. First of all, he gives Set his 2 daughters, and then he gives him a job. The job that Set is given is to protect Re's barge daily from the threats of the chaos monster Apophis. It's called Apophis in here. We talked about it before. It's the chaos god, but yeah, we clear. It's not the chaos. It's not chaos. It's bringing. Yeah, it's clearing away what man has made.
Okay.
Or what the gods have made. Apophis, who resides in the sea of the sky that Re's barge must travel. Re's barge being the sun.
Okay.
The barge carrying the sun.
Okay.
So the story of the death of Osiris and the contest between Horus and Set for kingship has a complicated web of connections and meaning relevant to royal rule in Egypt. Like Re being the first pharaoh who begat so-and-so, who begat so-and-so, begat so-and-so. If I got into that, it would be, again, 5 hours. I'm not going to do that. So, at death, the pharaoh assumes the role of Osiris, the dead king, king of the underworld. He retains his royal identity as he departs into the underworld, and just as Osiris did, he leaves behind his heir, the new pharaoh who assumes the throne and the royal identity as Horus did. In this way, the continuity of the rule of the eternal divine pharaoh is maintained, because as soon as an individual pharaoh dies, he's no longer the divine pharaoh, but is now identified with Osiris instead of Horus, and the new pharaoh assumes the role of Horus as the divine pharaoh. The story also validates the legitimacy of the reigning pharaoh's authority. Getting into like the actual real-world political construct of what happened in ancient Egypt.
So these gods are just on constant rotation. They're more of a position than an individual being?
It's whoever ascends into the pharaoh's position, whatever person ascends into the pharaoh's position takes on the role of Horus. And then when they die, they take on the role of Cyrus, and Horus passes on to the next pharaoh.
Okay.
It's more titular, like a title. Anyway, so the story also validates the legitimacy of the reigning pharaoh's authority. The contest between Horus and Set for the supremacy of the contest between Horus and Set for supremacy is sometimes understood as a contest between Lower Egypt, which was associated with Horus, and Upper Egypt, which was associated with Set. Geographically on the map, Upper is actually southern Egypt, and lower is northern Egypt. The direction is from the Nile.
Right. Yeah, upper is literally higher in elevation. Since it's upstream.
Okay. I think it's lower in elevation, because it's upstream. It's downstream. And they were thinking up.
The Nile flows north, right? Pretty sure the Nile flows north.
I'm not sure. I know the direct. Sorry, I know that upper is actually south of upper. Sorry, lower is actually north of upper because of the Nile. That's what I know.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it flows north into the Mediterranean.
Pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
So upper would be upstream.
Yes.
Yes.
But on a more primary level, the contest is between order and disorder, between the virtues of autocratic kingly authority and the threat of social chaos. Whatever. Horus, the master of all creation, although in some later versions of the story set is ultimately destroyed, in most versions he retains a distinctive role in the order overseen by Horus, and it is a role that is uniquely suited to his talents as a mighty warrior and trickster. At the same time, it is notable that Horus himself is able to outwit and outmaneuver Set. Horus is something of a trickster himself, that is, he incorporates principles of disorder into the order that his rule has established. Horus becomes the master of all creation, even the power of disorder. In its many variations, then, the story of Osiris, Set, and Horus is not only a myth about kingship, but also an explanation and a justification for the way things are now. And in a sense, the story is also a creation myth, because creation myths like this explain how the world of gods and human beings has assumed its present shape, how the cosmos has come to be, order as it is. Which, again, I would argue that we are not ordering the universe, we are disordering it.
So that wraps up your snippet on gods there.
Yeah.
And on that note, let's get into the afterlife.
Being dead.
This is, I've been looking forward to this.
That's weird that I did that. That's really strange.
Yeah, the brown chicken, brown cow after the being dead.
Yeah, it's fucking weird. I'm not that way. Not even a little. Ew. I'm a little ashamed.
Go ahead. Try to talk yourself out of this.
I think I'm done.
Yeah, the Norse and Egyptian mythology. I was interested in both their afterlife.
Afterlife?
Yeah, sure. The Norse mythology actually has a handful of different afterlives, just depending on who you are and how you die, kind of thing.
Like social class kind of thing?
No, not really social class. People who died in war had certain places. People who died at sea had a place.
Oh, okay.
Just regular Joe Schmo, farmer, whatever, shopkeeper, they had a place. Like, the majority of people...
Of old age?
Yeah, just people who just died, like accidents or whatever, not at battle or sailing or whatever.
The fucking anvil fell on their heads?
Sure.
They had anvils.
They did.
Yeah, I'm sure they fell on people's heads.
Sure.
That's how they never lost.
They're really fucking heavy. I don't know how you pick it up that high.
Or put the person
I
down
mean,
low.
Vikings are big fuckers, I guess.
Okay.
It's a lot of Icelandic and Norwegian and Swedish strongmen out there.
You know what? Not arguing at all.
Yeah.
Yep. Big dudes.
Yep.
Big redheads.
Yeah. Redheads and blondes and, yeah.
Sons of people.
I mean, reigning world's strongest man, Hafthor Bjornsson. The mountain to you nerds out there. He's Icelandic.
Yeah,
he's a big fucker.
Norse?
Huh?
That's Norse.
Yeah. They discovered it.
Good enough, right?
Yeah.
Big fucker. But I'm not going to argue with him.
Mm-hmm.
Says he's Norse? Sure. You're Norse. If he says he's African? Sure. You're African.
Sure.
If you're Martian? Yeah. I'm Martian. Cool. Mm-hmm. You come from
What was
Jupiter?
that movie?
Yeah.
John something or other of Mars.
Mars Attacks.
No.
John something of Mars?
Wasn't it John something of Mars?
What?
It had the dude that played Gambit in it.
Gambit? Which Gambit?
from the Wolverine Origins.
Oh, fuck yeah! Oh, like Jesse James or some stupid shit, like some Western on Mars.
Huh?
God damn, it was a horrible, like, Disney movie.
See,
Like,
I
sunk
thought
a
it was
ton of
better
money into
than what a lot of people said.
It was
I
fun.
accidentally watched it one night. Like, I came in, like, maybe 20, 30 minutes into it and just finished it. So I had no idea what the fuck I was watching. I'm like, that wasn't bad. And then the credits roll. I'm like, oh, that's that movie everybody's been shitting on. Like,
It's fun. Yeah, sure, it's exciting. It looks great, but isn't it Riddick?
no, because he was like I said, I came in partway through. But he was like a Civil War soldier that got sucked through a wormhole and ended up on Mars.
Oh, and he bounced around. That's right.
Right? Or am I mixing up my movies?
No. You're thinking of the right thing.
Okay.
You're thinking of the right thing. Fuck. God damn it. Okay, we'll look that up later. We'll look that up now. Go ahead. Keep on talking.
Something. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was John something. Anyways, the Afterlife. Way the fuck off topic right off the bat. Most people went to hell. H-E-L. Again, nothing like the Christian hell. Hell was ruled by hell. They'd go there and just pretty much live a normal life. They'd go back to doing what they were doing, basically. Nothing special, nothing extra, nothing punishing. They didn't really have a
John Carter.
John Carter of Mars.
Well, not of Mars. It's John Carter.
Oh.
Yeah.
Where the fuck am I getting of the Mars?
They were on Mars.
Was the book John Carter of Mars?
Princess of Mars. Based on a Princess of Mars.
Huh. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, not important.
No. Nobody cares.
Like I said, sailors or whatever that died at sea went to an underwater afterlife ruled by a giantess Ran.
Stop. I just want to fucking say, you've been wearing this hat all day that says heathen with a picture of like an old English looking. That's so horrible of me saying. I'm sorry. Mjolnir.
Yeah.
Just saying.
It's just my hat.
Celtic? Not Celtic. Not even Celtic.
No.
Norse.
Nordic. Yeah.
God damn. I'm stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like the old design. Like it's cool looking. Anyway,
Yeah. It's the traditional
Are
design.
you wearing that specifically for this because we were doing this episode today?
No, I'm wearing this because I was out in the sun all day and wanted a hat on.
Well, whatever. He does have all sorts of Norse stuff.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. My whole left arm is Norse tattoos.
Yeah.
Was that an almost burp? What the fuck was that noise?
I don't know what that was. That was some of a burp. That was everything that a fucking, like, a throat could do at the same time. Yeah, like that.
Yeah, so those that died at sea went to an underwater afterlife. And then those that died
horrible. Is that horrible? Was that a punishment?
I don't know. That's where you died. That's where you ended up.
Yeah, okay.
Actually, now that I say that out loud, where you die does determine where you end up, kind of.
Are you saying
Like if you died at home? No. Like in their.
Oh.
Yeah, like if you died at home being a farmer or whatever.
Yeah.
You go to hell where you pretty much just keep on being a farmer. If you died at sea drowning underwater, you just go to an underwater afterlife.
That sucks.
If you died in battle, you were divided into two groups by Odin and Freya. Freya would take her half to her great hall of Folkvang. Roughly translated, it means the field of warriors. They would hang out and be warriors and feast and fight and whatever. Odin would take the other half to the most famous Norse afterlife, Valhalla.
That. What's the name of a Led Zeppelin song?
What the hell was it? The Immigrant song is about Vikings.
Is it the Immigrant song?
Mm-hmm. Come from the land of the ice and snow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, his half will go to Valhalla, Hall of the Fallen. I've also seen it, Hall of the Slain, too. Some say that the ones that would go to Valhalla were the ones that died more heroically or were like the better warriors would go to Valhalla, while the rest would go to Folkvang.
Okay.
And then there's some saying that you could also be reborn as your own descendant. Like, it would have to follow your bloodline. Like, you could be reborn as your own great-grandson or whatever.
So they were into... Was it like a willful reincarnation, or...?
I couldn't find a whole lot on their version of reincarnation. Most of it focused on different afterlives, but I found that as, like, almost like an afterthought. Like, some also believe that they could come back as their own descendants.
Cool.
There is no heaven and hell in the Christian sense. They didn't have any sort of salvation or damnation. It was just
Any form of
you
justice?
lived and you died. Not really. I mean,
like eternal justice?
not that I found. Like, there's no punishment or anything.
Other than what you got for yourself?
Yeah. Like, I'm sure if... I don't know. Like, they didn't believe in a good and bad, necessarily. Like not like they didn't believe in a good and bad, but they didn't think that determined what you'd be once you died. Maybe like a clean slate, start over sort of thing. Everybody's back to zero.
Huh, okay.
I don't know.
That doesn't sound like justice.
Why is there got to be justice?
Oh, that's satisfying.
I mean, maybe the way you die is the justice.
Maybe.
If you're a shitty person and somebody fucking kills you for
So
it.
that sounds like karma, right?
Maybe.
Do they believe karma? Or an idea of it? Their version of it? Do you know?
Not that I'm aware of.
Well,
I haven't dug into it that
I
deeply.
personally do.
Okay.
They're just saying.
I just try to not be a dick.
Do you?
I mean, some people deserve it.
I don't think you're bad person.
Get the fuck out of the left lane. That's all I want. Get the fuck out of the left lane. I road rage like a motherfucker.
Life would be a lot.
I road raged from the passenger seat of your car this afternoon.
You did. You did. It's not like everybody didn't notice.
You don't hit the brakes on the on-ramp.
That guy deserved it. I was about to, but you got there before me, so I would just let you.
I got a pretty short fuse sometimes. No, I don't. I'll rephrase that as I treat people the way I would want to be treated.
And
like,
if you're doing that, you'd want to get yelled at.
Yeah. If I got my head up my ass, fucking let me know it.
Yeah.
But like, for the most part, I leave people alone. I keep to myself. I do my own thing because I want people to leave me alone and keep to themselves and do their own thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm very self-sufficient. I try not to depend on people. I don't want other people to depend on me.
Do you ever want kids?
If it happens, it happens.
Okay. That's a different story then. I assume you would agree with that.
Yeah.
Your kids have to do
Oh, yeah. Like, if I have kids, obviously.
Well, and you're whomever you're with.
Yeah.
That didn't come out.
Yeah, that changes things, obviously.
Yeah. But as you are now, people in your situation, do you?
Do I
People
what?
in other situations don't fuck with you. Let you do you.
Yeah.
Do your stuff too.
Yeah. I'll do me, you do you. Everybody gets along.
Yeah. It's like come into your work. Fuck you. It doesn't matter. Fuck you. Even when I come into there. Oh, thank you, but no, fuck you.
You're there first thing in the morning every goddamn time.
Papa Darby doesn't sleep.
You get there before I crack my first monster for the day.
I bet you were pretty happy last time I was there.
Yeah, you brought me a coffee and banana bread last time. Yeah, that was awesome. That did start my day off right. So, Valhalla, the roof was made of shields, the rafters made of spears, and the seats were made of breastplates. So basically their entire hall was just made of shit they could use in battle.
That sounds uncomfortable as fuck. Breastplates? The seats were made of breastplates?
I don't know how you would go about sitting on a breastplate.
I mean, I bet you could. It wouldn't be that hard.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be comfortable.
They did a whole lot of drinking and eating too, so
I want
they might not have given a fuck.
one of those. You know what? If I were a Viking, I'd want to die in a movie theater. So I would just live in the afterlife in a movie theater with the nice relaxing seats with the kids.
Oh, the new ones with the reclining seats.
Yeah, and the service, the food service.
Oh, I haven't been to one with food service.
Oh no,
No,
they do have them around here. I know they have.
The one here has like a little shitty restaurant bar inside of it.
Go up to Foco or down to Denver, or
I bet Denver would have one.
Loveland's a wonderful place. They have some great kitschy shit, but go up to where there's a really nice one, and it's fucking cool. They have service. You sit there, you watch the movie, you get your beer and shit, or drinks. And,
they need
or nachos or
a movie theater that you're allowed to smoke in, so you can just kick back, spark up, fucking watch whatever. The new Marvel movie of the week.
I believe they have that in the works.
That'd be sweet.
If it's not
those big old
already
recliner
a thing.
seats.
Is that already a thing?
I don't know. It needs to be.
Weed movie. Oh, it popped up. Is Denver really opening a marijuana-friendly movie theater?
That'd be the shit. I'd drive to Denver for a movie for that.
Almost a year ago, March 7th of last year. It's a possibility as soon as the 15th of August last year.
Because there's not a whole lot of public smoking places
there
in
is
the
one.
state. Is there really?
Zebulon Pike 16 Movie Theater Complex in Denver.
Fuck yeah.
Open on August 15th. It's there.
Fuck yeah.
Hey, maybe we can do a recording from there.
Oh, we need to go watch Jay and Silent Bob Reboot at that theater.
Do we? Okay, I'm down. Maybe we can record from there. Maybe we can have the manager record from there.
I'm listening to Kevin Smith's Fat Man Beyond 420 podcast right now. I'm finally catching up on that one. And he was just talking about Jay and Silent Bob Reboot as I shut my car off when I got here.
Politics, NPR, true crime. That's all I listen to.
I see. I listen to more comedy shit than.
Oh, well, most of my shit's comedy, but it's also comedy that.
Like Kevin Smith and Rogan and Mike Tyson and.
Yeah, I hear they're very good.
Pauly Shore.
People say they're popular.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't checked them out yet.
I don't listen to nearly as much podcast as you do. You're in your car way too fucking much.
Oh, I am. I so am. But even if I wasn't, like, sitting around my place, I would do shit and listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
I love podcasts.
See, I'd rather watch YouTube.
I'm not. I don't know. My kids are very into YouTube. That's all they do. Like, I don't get it.
YouTube probably makes up 50 to 60% of what I watch.
Yeah. Is that it?
Where the fuck were we? Fight all day, drink all night.
Sounds funny.
Every night they'd feast on a boar. Jesus. Say Hrimnir? That sounded like I said it backwards.
Did you say it backwards?
Sahrimnir. It's a boar that comes back to life every time they slaughter and butcher it. So its whole existence is just getting killed and eaten over and
God
over
damn.
and over.
That is like a fucking vegan's nightmare. That poor boar.
They have endless mead that comes from the udder of a goat named Hedrum.
Goat meat?
Yeah, goat mead.
Like raw goat meat.
Yep, straight from the udder.
Maybe.
From the udder to the horn.
I mean, I guess if it's good enough for Thor, I'll drink it, but...
You ever have mead?
I'm pretty sure I have.
Yeah. Mead's good
No,
shit.
I have. It's too...
There's a couple good meaderies in Colorado, actually.
It's too thick. It's too sweet. It's too much.
See, that's what I like about it. Like, I'm not a wine, like grape wine kind of guy.
Yeah.
I like the more fruitier wines.
No,
And mead has that sweetness to it. It's a little fruity.
Sweet gives me a fucking headache. Unless, okay, so... No, they always give me a headache, and sometimes I'm willing to get the headache, so... So, okay. I'll drink it again eventually,
Yeah.
But no.
I'm not a huge drinker. I'll have a beer here, a margarita there.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, a glass of mead or whatever, but...
I probably drink more often than... I probably have 10 beers a week. 10 beers in 7 days.
I'm lucky if I have 10 beers in a month, to be honest.
Okay.
Like, I almost never drink.
I have one almost... No, that's not true. No, I have 5 every 7 days. No. I don't know. I don't have one every night, but there's occasion... I have one frequently, and there's occasionally I have 2.
I don't think I could honestly tell you the last time I drank a beer.
Oh, no.
It's been a long time.
Anyway.
That wraps up my Afterlife.
Alright. So, in the Egyptian Afterlife, there's shit that happens too. And I will tell you about it after I smoke this a bullet. Let's really give it a
I had some cottonmouth like a motherfucker tonight.
Me too, but it's fucking... It's Colorado, it's dry as fuck here.
I drink so much water.
I'm hitting shit. I'm hitting the mic and shit.
You fought so hard with that stuck stem just so you could get that noise.
Yep. I did. I'm committed. I like the sound of the crackle of the fire too. That's a cool sound. Anyway, so in the ancient Egyptians theorized the passage. I think they used theorized wrong. I think they mean hypothesized because they weren't able to test the hypothesis, so it couldn't be
a theory. Yeah. That's at least twice we have discussed the difference between theory and hypothesis on this show.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember it all.
I think the Dimensions episode, we mentioned it.
You say so?
Or... Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the Dimensions episode.
If you say so. I don't remember mentioning it at all. Okay. Anyway, they hypothesized the passage to the afterlife in a series of stages. The first phase was the belief to encompass the vehicle of transportation, which would eventually direct their departed souls to immortality. Individuals were subjected to a multitude of passages, but the choice of the route was not theirs. It was dependent on their status. The aspect that was most universally influential in determining what passage was taken was one's position among their leaders. Despite the differences between voyagers, beliefs concerning the afterlife are astronomically reliant on religious ideologies. For example, early people often used religion to understand and comprehend, as well as relate to natural occurrences, since science had not yet defined everyday incidents. To demonstrate there was no justification of the sun's orbit, so religious myths redefined and answered the questions prehistoric people had. Yet, since natural incidents were explained by religious beliefs, other realms of creed mimic the natural patterns of life. For instance, the general ideology associated with the path to the underworld was believed that as night overshadowed the land, the deceased would begin their journey, and with the rising of the sun, a new day was not only thought to have begun, but a new life as well. Boat passages to the underworld were strictly reserved for pharaohs who had died. The Egyptian sun god Ra was believed to have traveled to the underworld by boat as the sun set. As a way to mimic Ra's daily expedition, the ancient people of Egypt would construct model boats ranging in many sizes in which they would bury alongside their pharaohs. For example, next to the pyramid of Khufu, researchers uncovered a boat the size of traditional ships, which displayed not only the extreme devotion Egyptians had for their leader, but all their dedication to obtaining eternity for all. In other words, a great deal of the requirements for the deceased to properly reach the underworld rested on the living. In order for pharaohs to arrive at their final destination, these people had to construct a variety of boats to ensure his departure. As a result, communities had to come together to support each other. Otherwise, their perspective of immortality, as well as their beliefs, would end indefinitely. Therefore, commitment to helping others achieve eternity was a vital component to Egyptian culture, as demonstrated by the gallant boats buried with their rulers.
So the common person didn't have an afterlife? Did I understand that right? Just the pharaohs did?
The ones that couldn't afford a boat. Yeah.
Okay.
So, however, not all who died were presented with the opportunity to travel to the underworld. Since the living were obligated to ensure that the deceased could travel to the afterlife, it was also in their control to eliminate one's chance in achieving eternity. Therefore, the living had an array of options that prevented a second life to an unworthy individual who had passed away. The most famous included decapitation, which when executed, killed a person twice. As a result, the second death associated with the decapitation was also assumed to have annihilated their chance at another life. As noted in Egyptian texts, this instance was incredibly feared, but happened most often to those who rebelled or disobeyed the king. So, the judgment of the dead. To the ancient Egyptians, the judgment of the dead was the process that allowed the Egyptian gods to judge the worthiness of the souls of the deceased. Deeply rooted in the Egyptian belief of immortality, judgment was one of the most important parts of the journey through afterlife. As such, many variations of judgment scenes appeared in the Egyptian afterlife texts. Each soul that entered the afterlife was handled individually during judgment. Once the deceased finished their journey through the underworld, they arrived at the Hall of Ma'at. Ma'at, M-A-A-T. Here, their purity would be their determining factor in whether they would be allowed to enter the kingdom of Osiris. The deceased's first task was to correctly address each of the 42 judges by name while reciting the sins they did not commit during their lifetime. This process allowed the dead to demonstrate that they knew each of the judges' names, or Ren, and established that they were pure and free of sin. After confirming that they were sinless, the deceased was presented with a balance that was used to weigh their heart against the feather of Ma'at. Anubis was the god often seen administering this test. If the deceased's heart balanced with the feather of Ma'at, Tot, or Thoth, would record the result and would be presented to Osiris, who admitted them into the Sekut Aru. However, if their heart was heavier than the feather, it was to be devoured by the goddess Ammit, permanently destroying the soul of the deceased. Tot is often depicted to be a bird. I'm going to talk about Tot a little bit. He's often depicted to have a bird head. He's is one of the ancient Egyptian deities, and in art he's often depicted as a man with the head of an ibis or a baboon, animals that are sacred to him. His feminine counterpart was Seshat, and his wife was Ma'at. He played many vital and prominent roles in Egyptian mythology, such as maintaining the universe and being one of the two deities, the other being Ma'at, who stood on either side of Ra's solar barge. That's the one that carries the sun.
Right.
In the later history of ancient Egypt, Tot became heavily associated with the arbitration of godly disputes. the art of magic, the system of writing, and the development of science and the judgment of the dead. He's also a very interesting character. And actually, all of these characters that we've been talking about are featured in the show American Gods on the network stars.
Yeah, you told me about it. I still haven't had a chance to check it out yet. I got so much shit on my stuff I need to watch list.
The second season is hard to get into. I've watched the first couple episodes, but the first season is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on my list.
Yeah. Yeah. It should be. Especially you. It's up your alley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck was that zombie one we were watching before we sat down? Black something or other?
Black
Summer. That first episode has me intrigued. I'm gonna check it out.
It was fun.
Don't spoil it.
Oh, I'm not going to.
Okay.
No. I wouldn't do that. It's a mix between Dawn of the Dead and what was that other one?
It kind of had like a 28 Days Later look to it.
It does. It has the look. Well, except for 28 Days Later was English, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's American.
Yeah.
I forget. There's another movie that it resembles, but I forget what it is. I'll think about it later.
Yeah.
I'm really fucking tired. It's late.
Yep.
It's been a long day.
Yep.
But it's been interesting.
Yeah.
I love this topic.
Yeah, I've never read into the Egyptian shit any more than what I've seen on History Channel or
Did
whatever.
you learn anything?
I did.
I learned a lot about what you said too.
Good.
I learned that
It's a lot of fucking names I can't pronounce.
I'm glad
And we're
that
barely scratching the surface on at least the Nord. Like, there's so many fucking stories.
On both of these subjects, yeah. We did not do them justice, but hopefully we piqued your interest.
Yeah.
And you guys got stuck with us.
So before we wrap this up, let's knock out Ragnarok. And then Ragnarok. No. Not a Shining fan.
I've never actually seen that movie.
I went to see The Shining at a little theater downtown here on Halloween this year.
Like, for the first time you've ever seen it?
No. I've seen it a bunch of times, but it was cool to see it on the big screen.
Oh,
And we're right down the canyon from the hotel that inspired it, up in Estes Park.
I'm supposed to take my daughter for her 13th birthday on a ghost hunt there.
Yeah, I've been
Which
wanting to do that.
is 2 days before Halloween.
Nice.
Yeah.
I cosplayed as Jack Torrance to go watch the movie in a theater right down the canyon from the hotel that inspired it.
So
I'm a little bit of a horror movie nerd.
I like horror. I don't know if you know more about horror than I do. I think I just know a different time frame than you do. There was a guy dressed as Jack Torrance. It looked like Jack Torrance up there. And I said, hey, let's take a picture. He said, okay, $5. I said, fuck you. It's not that cool that you look like Jack Torrance. It's cool, but yeah.
So Ragnarok. Let's wrap this the fuck up. This is a long episode.
Okay.
Ragnarok. The destruction of the gods, or the fate of the gods, is what it's translated to, basically.
El Feto of the Gazo for our Spanish-speaking listeners.
Sure. H will correct you for that one, but sure. So Ragnarok starts with a terrible winter. A winter that lasts as long as 3 normal winters, with no summer in between them. So it's just cold as fuck. To the point where people get so hungry because there's nothing left to eat that they start killing each other. Like, just rage killing because they're so fucking hungry. Skoll and Hades are 2 wolves that chase the moon and the sun across the sky. They finally catch their prey, the moon and the sun, respectively, plunging the world into darkness. Trees and mountains fall, the seas rise. Fenrir, the giant wolf that they chained up, finally breaks free of his magical chains. Jorgmunden, the giant sea serpent thing, rises from the sea. Loki leads an army of giants, sailing on the ship Naglfar. Naglfar? Naglfar. It means the nail ship. It's a ship made from the fingernails and toenails of the dead. That's fucking gross.
That is fucking sick as shit.
Fenrir, the wolf, breaks free and runs across the earth with his mouth open, his bottom jaw scraping the earth, his top jaw scraping the sky, devouring everything in his path. Jorgamund the serpent spits venom all over the world, poisoning the land, the seas, and the air. The sky cracks open. Surt, a giant wielding a giant flaming sword, brighter than the sun, leads the fire giants. Heimdall, from the Marvel movies that you mentioned. Heimdall? Is that how you... Okay. Heimdall. He's the sentry tasked with looking out over the Rainbow Bridge for Asgard. So I guess Marvel kind of got that one right. Ish.
He controlled the Bifrost.
The bridge, yeah. The guards arm themselves and gather on the battlefield called Vigrid. Plain where the battle surges is what it translates to. Odin fights Fenrir the wolf along with his army from Valhalla. They fight like no army has ever fought before. This is the best of the best, like the Viking elite, sort of. Fenrir swallows them up, though. Vidar, Odin's son, avenges his father's death, killing Fenrir. Tyr, another god, Tyr lost his hand while they were chaining the wolf up. It bit his hand off as like a rebuttal for them betraying him by chaining him up. He fights another wolf, Garm, and they kill each other mutually. Heimdall the Lookout and Loki kill each other in battle. Freyr and the giant with the flaming sword Surt kill each other. Thor kills the serpent with his hammer, but he's covered in so much venom that he's only able to take 9 paces after the fight before he collapses dead.
Oh no. This is horrible.
And after all this, it pretty much just goes back to that big nothing void. Like, that's the end.
The end.
Later on, once the Christians started trying to convert the Norse pagan people to Christianity, they kind of put a "and then" onto the end of Ragnarok. Instead of it going into the void, a green new world rises out of the sea. The gods Vidar, Vali, Balder, Hodor, and Thor's sons, Nodi and Magni, all survive Ragnarok somehow. 2 humans had hidden themselves somehow with all this going on. They managed to survive. And that's kind of where it ties into the Christian creation story, with those 2 being the Christian Adam and Eve, basically. So it was a way to attempt to convert pagans into converting into Christianity as sort of the natural successor to their own gods.
Interesting.
So that wraps up the "and then" on the Ragnarok story.
And then...
I haven't seen that movie in forever, too.
I forget what movie that is.
That's Dude, Where's My Car?
Oh, Dude, Where's My Car?
Yeah. I bet that didn't hold up. It's been a long time since I've seen that. Theater. Did you really?
Yeah.
I think I own it, actually. I think I have it on DVD. That about wraps up the Mythology episode of the Higher Minds podcast.
That's it. I'm not sure how long this will be at the end.
I don't know.
When you cut it.
As of right now, it's pretty long, but we've gotten off topic so many times.
Yeah. Well, some of the off topics are pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. HigherMindsPodcast.com.
HigherMindsPodcast.com.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, SoundCloud. Deuces, everybody.
Deuces.